All right.
Yo,
Just like that, we are back again.
we back at it.
LT, tell me about what's new.
What is new?
Yeah.
Same old with me. I'm in better focus now. I think we did a little bit of adjustment, so that should be better going forward.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a pretty busy week. Not so much in the fight world, but in my personal life. So just getting ready for a few things here and there. Getting my kids ready for school and stuff like that. The holiday weekend,
Oh yeah,
uh, celebration here and there. What's up with your holiday weekend?
holiday is opportunity to get work done. So did some yard work this morning. You know,
No days off.
got some gym time in, quality gym time. So yeah, that just means get ahead for the week.
Right, right. And yeah, so salute to everybody in here. I see we have one person watching the live. Um, salute to you. I know we're missing one of our hosts today. Congratulations, by the way, to Kam Gee, welcoming baby Cosmo to the world. Let me put on my round of applause. Yeah, it's a magical moment when you have your first child. So with Grace, Kam Gee had to do what he needs to do first, which is family. So salute to Kam Gee.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll have you back soon, refreshed, ready to go, and as a brand new father, so we could, you know, have that father talk, just me and you. While we wait for LT to get there too. So
Yeah, man, I've been holding out on the, team no kids. Got a nice running streak going here, but
yeah.
it's getting about time to start the clan. So I gotta start my own lineage.
As usual, you know how the show goes. We revise past fights that happened throughout the weekend and this weekend of uh, uh, August 31st, leading on to right now. LT, who's fighting?
Who's fighting? All right. So off top, we want to start with Diego Pacheco and Masij Sulecki.
Mm. So how did that go?
Woo! Super middleweights here. Action packed fight. We
Yeah.
had Pacheco came out putting pressure on the front foot all night long from the get go. Uh, Sulecki is an experienced fighter. He's got some big names under his belt. We actually talked about him on the show some years back. He had his prior to this fight, his big matchup was against Demetrius Andrade, and so I think he lost that fight by unanimous decision.
Right.
He rattled off, bounced back from that, rattled off about a 4 or 5 fight win streak, which set him up with this fight against Pacheco. But this kid proved himself to be pretty dangerous. Um, yeah, timing, power, aggression, it's all there. And he pulled off against an experienced fighter. So it's very impressive showing, especially when it comes as a result of a body shot in the 6th round.
The sixth round. Yeah. That's that body shot is very devastating. Like most people that have not been hit with those, you don't know how painful that is. I'd rather get knocked out than being caught clean with a nice, body shot that just will have you down. Just your body will quit on you. It's just similar to the MMA, how kind of people that have not the casual have never received a leg kick. Those are like numbing kicks. They make your body do just weird. Your body freezes and goes to panic mode when you feel that type of pain. But going back to the Pacheco fight,
Mhm.
so he's a very, very, very skilled, wily veteran. He's been. I've seen. I think the first time I've seen him was versus Daniel Jacobs, and then as you said, the Andrade fight. So he's been there. He's fought some real big names. Diego Pacheco being a young prospect, as we call it.
Yes, sir. And
Um,
so, funny thing about this fight, it happened in Carson, California. Um, something about Friday nights in Carson, California that is just a recipe for action. The
Yeah.
recipe for knockouts is something about that atmosphere and that venue. Another fact, Pacheco trains with the Benavidez camp. So that came out.
Makes
So
sense.
that tells you a lot about the style of a fighter and that type of pace that he comes with. It tells you a lot about that. So
It makes sense. I mean, looking at Pacheco's build, he's 6'4", 79-inch wingspan. He's lanky, he's long, rangy is what they call it in the fight world. Rangy fighter.
yeah,
His opponent, Seleki, he's not a small guy for that. They're fighting at the super middle, right? He's also
correct.
6'1". Let me see what Solanke's wingspan is. 6'1", 68-inch wingspan. He's not a little guy. The Polish man is also known for his just not only being a veteran, but a very wise fighter. He knows how to stay in fights. He knows how to ride his bike. His knockout percentage is not that high. He's a 37.5% knockout rate, which is not too high. He has 12 knockouts in combined 35 fights. He has 35 bouts. He's kind of on the other side of his career. He's about 38 years old. If I'm not mistaken, he was born in 86. So I don't know. Is that retirement age or is that where his golden age? I don't know. For a fighter in the super middle when you're 38.
Gatekeeper,
Gatekeeper.
just depends on if he wants to keep fighting or not,
That's a good name for Diego on his resume.
Right.
So, fighting a guy who has fought Danny Jacobs, Andrade, that's a good name on his stat sheet. So salute to Diego Pacheco. And talking about the super middleweight, we have some fireworks that are about to happen here. Puerto Rico.
Right.
We have Balenga. Wait, let me do it justice. I can't start with the person who's coming to meet the king. Canelo Saul Alvarez versus Edgar Balenga. And that's on the 14th.
Shout out to Terror Squad.
Terror Squad. Puerto Rico.
I think Fat Joe at one point had a hand in promoting Berlanga, I believe. I'm sure he probably still does.
What's that famous saying for Puerto Ricans? Morigua, Morena.
Hey.
Remember that? I remember that for Big Pun.
Absolutely.
Morena. Anyways,
salute the pun. Right.
So, salute to all the Puerto Ricans out there. We love the culture. But you were saying, my apologies.
Yeah, Pacheco's another name to throw in that mix. I mean, we're not going to get Benavidez, so Pacheco's somebody that's in that weight class. He knocked off one opponent there. I mean, if we start comparing resumes, Berlanga's somebody that kind of an exciting fighter. It's got a little bit of East Coast buzz, but not a huge resume to speak of. So they're relying on that backstory to sell that fight. The Mexican versus Puerto Rican angle. So,
what do you think? How do you think that would translate with? First of all, before I even get to, who's the rangiest fighter Canelo has fought? I was gonna say Kovalev. I can't even say his name. Sergey Kovalev.
Sergey Kovalev.
Kovalev, or is it Bivol? Who's the biggest guy he's fought? I don't know.
I think Bivol.
Bivol is about.
I'd have to give it to Bivol because he just used the jab. Like that's somebody.
I don't think Canelo has fought any like 6'3", 6'4" rangy, and that's the thing. David Benavidez is about that same size. He's rangy. Like, how does Canelo's? I've never seen Canelo fight a fighter who Bivol did it to him, where he jabbed Canelo to death.
Right.
Kept him from Canelo's style. Canelo's a very good inside fighter. probably one of the best because underratedly, Canelo has probably one of the greatest chins in history. He can take punishment,
Yeah,
and
you
he
definitely
give
can.
he gives so he could knock you out. He lets you have him a little bit. You know, you could touch him up a little bit, but he keeps the damage minimal so he could get his opportunity to open you up. That's Canelo, and he's underrated chin, and he works so good with people that press. Fighting distance fighters, Bivol kind of exposed him with that size. Just stiff jab, stay away from me, shush fly, stay away from me. And once Bivol found his range, he started tagging Canelo, and I could physically see Canelo getting frustrated because he could not get in the inside.
That was elite conditioning.
Yeah,
I want to put the phrase that
and
right.
and I think
Elite conditioning. And so if you can do that from start to finish, you have a chance. Uh, but we
you
see it all the time. Like he's gonna wait. You know, we seen it in the Caleb Plant fight.
yes, he's very patient. But do
I,
you
I
think
don't know. I don't know what Berlinga's conditioning is.
Belenga is a big dude? He's about 6'1", but I don't think Belenga is known for the jabs. More of his hooks, more aggressive. He's a brute. He
Not so
does,
much technical.
maybe he has that. It's just he's been knocking out people left and right that he has not had to use that. The same way we thought Earl Spence was a brute, and then he fought Mikey Garcia, and he showed us a different side. And we thought he was going to knock out the Little World fighter quick, but he outboxed the boxer, and we put levels on all Spence's resume or his stripes. His legend grew legs after that fight, I believe, and we made him the mammoth that he became in the boxing world. Like, wow, that guy is really, really good. For Belenga, maybe that legend will grow legs if he shows us a different side against Canelo. But I think Belenga may approach it like Kovalev and get knocked out. Benavidez, on the other hand, he is rangy. He's big. He knows he's bigger than most of the middleweights, super middleweights, and he shows that he's going to use that range, tag you from a distance, get you tied, and knock you out. He's a deep end. And the only person that, like we talked last, that gave him a good fight was Plant. Plant is a very skilled fighter, and he'll take away your main strategy. But now you're bringing in Diego Pacheco into this mix, who's another rangy fighter. Do you think
Yeah.
Canelo wants to fight that? 6'4", Canelo's like 5'10". I don't know, 5'9". I don't know how tall Canelo is, but
I'll give you what I think Berlinga has to do. It has to be a born fight, meaning he has to wait for Canelo and catch Canelo on the way in. And not in the sense of what we think traditionally of working the jab. I think his only chance is coming on counters.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even try to outpoint him. I wouldn't even test my gas tank like that. Let's just be real. Try to out counter this guy. When he's in close, try to wear out the body and protect your neck, at the same time, and try to be more physically imposing. But
yeah,
make it boring, make it ugly.
make it boring, make it ugly. Do you think clinch work is going to be good for a bigger fighter? Because you tire out those arms during if you have the endurance to do the clinch work to tire out those arms, especially if you're big. We saw that with Tyson Fury's clinch work on a smaller, skinnier fighter in Deontay Wilder, where he just drained him, like putting that weight on Deontay Wilder clinch work. Would that be a smart strategy for Belenga to use his size and impose himself on that clinch work? We saw Earl Spence trying to do clinch work on Terrence Crawford, but Terrence surprised us with his strength, just throwing him off. Like, bro, I was like, what? Spence is that strong? Like, Earl tried to do that clinch work because that's a technique to get somebody's legs tight, especially if you think you're bigger and you could impose yourself. In the clinch, just hold on to that person. You push him to the ropes, just get him tight, Do you think clinch work would be a good strategy for Canelo, or just won't
Oh,
be?
for Canelo
No, I
or
mean for
against Canelo?
against Canelo, because he's like 5'9", 5'8", 5. He may even be 5'7.5", and you fighting a
I feel
6'2".
like there's so much risk because you're fighting within range at that point.
Yeah.
So no.
No.
No, man, you're fighting Canelo within range. When you got to pick your spots, right?
Yeah.
You clinch before he can get off. If you're clinching and you get caught,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. You know, and the thing
I
is,
just feel like it's a different class,
it's
a different class of fighter.
it's a different level. It, it is going to be a test to see what level of fighter Eddie got, but we know what Canelo does. We know some people have strategically done probabilities and statistics on when Canelo knocks out people. Is it the 7th, 8th round? They're out there on Canelo's, and it's like they know it's coming. It's you have a good first 2 rounds. He's trying to understand you, trying to figure you out. He'll switch. He's a switch. He is a switch foot. He could do the Terrence Crawford and switch, lead with his right when he's he lead with his right foot. He's very interesting of a fighter, and he has a swag to him that is not typical for most Mexican fighters that would use the overhand. No, he'll do all sorts of styles. Canelo he's an artist in there. So, but he can be God. And Bivol,
he's calm and collected, definitely.
Bivol showed us the trick, and Bivol used range. Bivol used that stiff jab. Bivol stuck to his plan from beginning to end. He didn't get too excited. Just like a machine, he's a machine. Just the same thing.
Absolutely.
And it frustrated Canelo, and he got beat proper. But anyways, salute to Canelo and Benavidez. I'll be there watching. I'll be there. September 14th, I'll be there.
Berlanga.
Sorry, Berlanga. I'll be there. And hopefully Diego Pacheco gets that opportunity to fight that type of fighter. Or fight, David Benavidez if it's for the right money. Same camp.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You want to move to the next ticker or what?
Let's talk about the next thing. What do we have?
Here we go.
Ooh.
We got the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois press conference.
Did you see that?
So it wasn't a press conference. I titled it press conference.
It's like a face-to-face, sit down. What I'm gonna do to you in the ring, or all that stuff. I think that was the biggest seller for this fight. Both fighters are not the best talkers. They're not the best promoters. Eddie Hart, I'm saying his name wrong, but Eddie is pretty much the mouthpiece for Joshua. He's pretty much, he does what he does. He does a lot of heavy lifting with talking, being the bad guy. Joshua's always been the preppy, proper, British, all-loving fighter who everybody loves, sells out the O2 Arena, sells out Wembley, action figure looking, 6'7", 6'6", built like a Greek god, and he doesn't say much. But I'll tell you, that face-to-face they had, we need to see Joshua in that mode multiple times. I don't know if it was, do you think it was authentic or it was just staged? Him being pissed off at Danny or Daniel.
It seemed authentic to me, at least in his delivery.
Yeah. I wish I could play that clip, but I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube or get a YouTube strike because I'm playing some Sky Sports clip. I remember seeing Joshua's energy change when Daniel Dubois said, "Let's fight right now."
He said, "Let's go now.
Let's go now. Let's go now." And Joshua's like, "I don't take kindly to disrespect." In the most British way. He said, "I'll throw this chair over here, over there." Like, yo, we call him Daniel. Daniel.
We
That
go.
was
We can go now.
we go now.
We can go now.
We could go now. But you know, this is a fight nobody wants to see, to be honest.
Ooh.
We want to see Fury Joshua. You know, but Fury stuck in the Usyk waters because his showcase in the first fight was so bad that they had to use the rematch clause. And we don't want to see that. We don't want. Do you want to see Usyk Fury too? I don't. I don't want to see. It's styles make fights. I don't want to see him get outclassed again because it's gonna happen. It happened to Joshua. It's gonna happen to Usyk. I mean, it's gonna happen to Fury. What we want.
I think we have to see it. It's, you know, was it a fluke? Was it not a fluke? How can he recover after he's been knocked down? Like, you know,
Recency bias, we all have it. But if we remember the A whooping that Fury got in that fight, yes, Fury had Usyk kind of with the body punches, whatever, but that was a boxing masterclass. We were like, nah, he's different gravy, man. Usyk is different gravy because he's a cruiserweight fighting heavyweights. It's just weird to explain, but in that ring, it just looks like it's unfair for him to fight a 6'9" guy who we thought was twinkle toes, light on the feet, moved very good with it. It just and he knocked him out and they extended the count. Or there was something that happened. He knocked Fury out. Remember? Oh, he had Fury in trouble and they stopped it, or something happened, and then the bell rang, and then it was. But really and truly, Joshua, we want to see you fight Fury. We want you. I don't care about the Wilder fight anymore. That's gone, dead and gone. Bring in what's his name? The guy from Congo, Bakole, or maybe a Jang Joshua. We don't want to see you fight DeBois. Respect to Danny DeBois, but his will has been broken too many times by heavyweights. Joe Joyce did that to him. Usyk did that to him. I've seen him kneel at a heavyweight. Most heavyweights go off on their own shield. They get knocked. This dude knelt and quit. The caliber of fighter Joshua is, I think you're way past this, Du Bois. But if it's a money grab, I respect Du Bois. First of all, for stepping in the ring, I respect you, bro. You're way better than me, a talking head, right? I'm sorry to even say that you don't deserve that chance. You deserve that chance. You are a heavyweight contender in your own right. But man, it's the fans. The fans are calling for a fight that we want to see them before they get into their 39, 40 years old type of thing. We don't want to see another Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather. I'll be honest. But what do you say, or what's your say on that?
Huh. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta be realistic, you know. The boy is in line, you know, he's in line. But some of these guys out here are definitely intriguing, you know, definitely intriguing. But I kind of the pedigree, right? The pedigree, the opponents that the boy has faced. I gotta respect that. But from an interest standpoint, Zane give you a lot of interest. Bacola give you a lot of interest. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I would do a Joe Parker Joshua 2 before I do a Du Bois. I would do a Baby Miller, who kind of, people are not talking about what he has done. He has transformed himself, like very dangerous contender that people avoid because he's a busy fight. He has good hand combinations for a big dude, and now he's in shape. That's a different problem. Yes, he got beat by Du Bois. I think Du Bois beat him. Was it Du Bois that beat him? Du Bois beat him. Yeah, I think Du Bois beat Baby Miller. But you know, but that was an unhealthy, a 320-pound, 340-pound Baby Miller, like when he got beat by Du Bois, and they were fighting in Riyadh, I believe, for an undercard for the Ngannou versus Joshua undercard, if I remember. But I don't want to see Dylan White versus Joshua. I don't want to see Joshua versus Chisora. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I don't want to. I don't want to see those fights. I want Joshua to take the risks. This is the point in his career where you take the risks. Do the Ali Foreman. Take that risk. Do the Ali Sonny Lister. Take that risk. Do the Ali Frazier. Take that risk. The only time you took a risk, the only time, Joshua, you took a risk was you fighting Vladimir. And it was more of a risk for Vladimir because you were a newcomer who had just won the Olympics. And he gave you that opportunity and you surprised the world. We don't want
some strong. You're making some strong arguments here.
We don't want you to have these roadman fights. We are tired of that. Take that risk. Grab that division by the scruff of the neck and become a legend. I know Eddie Hearns is looking at you as a cash cow, and that risk is not good for the big grand scheme of things. But we have a Jing. We have a Bakoli. Let Bakoli be your George Foreman. If you Ali. Deontay Wilder, no. I can see you taking that fight because it's not risky. But take a risk. But anyway, sorry, I was on my because I like Joshua. And I could
definitely you're making some strong points there. I mean, and at the same time, what he could also be doing is heading those guys off at the pass, before they hit that #1 contender status or whatever, and realigning himself as the sole #1 contender for the title shots. Like me personally, I don't think Usyk has very many fights left. What more is there to accomplish, right?
He's pound
just
one.
Just the type of guy that he is, like I don't know how much he feels like he has left to prove. And so those belts got to go somewhere, and we probably will see those fights down the line.
Does a Usyk Joshua 3 entice you, or you just felt like that style, just those styles don't mix?
No, I mean, no.
Okay, same here. I just think he's just so slithering. He's such a cruiserweight. He's so good. He's so good. Like I low-key want Usyk to fight like a Bivol.
The thing is, we're at the point of Joshua's career that he is what he is,
Yeah.
Joshua is what he is now.
Yeah.
And we've seen it twice. So,
and like, to be honest, the heavyweight is stacked with so many 35-year-olds, 34-year-olds, because I've watched the younger grassroots heavyweight boxers, but I'm not impressed by I was impressed by Big Baby, Jared Anderson. But I think they fed him to the wolves too early. But I'm trying to look for another young fighter in the heavyweight that I could see bringing pure excitement, because the lower divisions are smoking it, because of the output of talent levels, especially when you have an American heavyweight. That's when heavyweight is always at its pinnacle when you have an American heavyweight in that mix. When it's European, Eastern European, that's cool. We saw that the whole early 2000s leading up after, mid 2000s leading up to the 2010s leading up, right? Because even Lennox Lewis, one of my goats, right? One of my favorites, was not charismatic. Like we did like the Rahman, that fight. We like the Rahman. We like Mike Tyson. American heavyweight is always, because just how the American culture is with boxing, it's a very casual watching culture, and it's high heavy promotion. That when you get a heavyweight is the pinnacle, is like it's the gravitas of boxing, because people want to see these big mammoth going back and forth. and knocking out each other because the knockout percentage is way higher with the heavy guys, right? So when the heavyweight division is popping in America, a lot of money is made. Wilder did make a resurgence for that. Salute to Wilder. He brought back that interest, and he did play on the angle of, white, black, Fury, him, and whatever. And he made that. They made money. Now that I look at the new heavyweights coming in, I want to see. And if you're watching this and you're an American heavyweight on the come up, make it be known. Leave a comment. Let us, inform me, educate me. Let me know of your presence. Let me watch your videos, because I don't see anyone in the grassroots competing with the Europeans. And I love the European boxers, but it's just a different vibe when you have an American in the mix. I don't know, but that's maybe my bias being stateside. But what do you think?
It's 100% accurate. It's 100% accurate. The void is why Floyd was able to take the sport and run with it for so long. It's becoming more about antics outside the ring, and a bunch of drama surrounding the fights, and less about the actual competition.
Yeah,
but heavyweight, definitely we need more heavyweights.
More heavyweights. Yeah,
where they're gonna come from, I don't know.
They're playing. They're all playing football. They're playing football. They're playing basketball. The heavyweights are not in the boxing. And the thing is this. I think one fighter said this: boxers usually come from a certain background, and unfortunately, people fight to get out of certain conditions. Seldomly do you find like a silver spoon child being a professional fighter. Usually people are fighting real life stuff to get out of situations, and that's the chip on their shoulder to become champions, right? Because they know that's the lottery ticket to help not only themselves but a community and a generation. And it's seen from American fighters, right? And with in America, that's the same story what we hear about basketball players. Not saying every basketball player comes from a certain condition, but it's evident, it's seen. The best basketball players do come from a certain place. Best football players do come from a same place. It comes from a place not of desperation, but a place of, I got to do this. This is bigger than me. So my grind, what motivates me is bigger than me. And really and truly, what they see on TV is football, basketball, and sometimes in the creative arts world.
Right.
And how that translates into other sports, I don't know, but I know it's not going. No one is going to the boxing gym to get that CTE, or just it takes a special type of person to put on those gloves and go fight.
First of all, what you got to do before you get in the ring, everything that leads up to that point is torture. The gym is hot. The rounds are longer. The rounds are typically 5 minutes in the gym. Then after you leave the hot gym, you go outside and run where it's hot at too. So.
Yeah, so I'd say that to bring it back full circle. I respect every person that fights, because damn right, I'm not doing that. I'm not risking that. My faculties for that. But I do love the fight sport, so I'll never talk bad about fighters in what they deserve and what they don't deserve. But as a fan, there's some matches that need to happen to build a legacy and make that legacy concrete in the time that you have to fight, where you're fully able and you're in your prime, for lack of a better word. So what else we have on the docket?
And also preserve the integrity of the sport, but we can go on a soapbox.
Oh yeah.
We looking at upcoming bout. Tomorrow.
That's
going up on a Tuesday.
That's
Naoya Inoue versus TJ Doheny.
So I was listening to Japanese commentary, Inoue's nickname is the Monster, but it's all originated from a word called Kayabusi. If I'm saying it
Mm.
right. Kayabusu, which is the monster. You know, Inoue, we know what he is. Number 2 pound for 27 victories. Uh, he's one of the best in his division. Dare I say he's on the all time list now, or he's climbing up that tree of all time. 24 knockouts. People that do the math. What's his knockout rate? 27, 27 fights, 27 victories, 24 knockouts. Legendary super bantamweight nightmare. People don't want to fight him, but he's also going to fight another powerhouse, TJ Penny out of Ireland. Also a veteran, born in 86, so he's 37. He's born November 2nd, 86. Comes in to this fight with 30 bouts, 26 wins, 20 knockouts. Another knockout guy. His nickname is the Power. So you know he has something. He has some dynamite in them hands. And he comes in with 4 losses.
So we got the Monster versus the Power.
The Monster versus the Power. Kayabusi versus the Power. Doheny. What's your anticipation for this fight?
I think I'm just like everybody else. If I had to put money on it, I'm putting it on Inoue. Complete fighter. Speed, power, just super impressive. The string that he's put together. I mean, absolutely, that's my expectations. So,
You know,
I mean, for him to be able to perform at home too, like to do this on his home turf consistently, so says a lot about how impressive this run is.
You know, I was not heavy on him until I saw him fight Stefan Fulton. What he did with Stefan Fulton, and just respect to Stefan Fulton, but it was just outclassed, outperformed, and put away. It was a stoppage, TKO. Inoue is not a joke. Inoue is creating a legacy brick by brick. Fortunately, we still have him for a longer time. He's 31. I think he's in his prime right now, and it's going to be a good fight. Unfortunately, I've not seen too much of TJ. Hopefully, his resume looks good, looks solid. What he's known for looks like this is a match made in heaven for somebody getting knocked out, or somebody knocking out, depending on how, the events go. But I wish I could watch it. It's over here stateside, especially in the we personally, I use CST time. That's around 4:30 in the morning. If you're in the East Coast, that's about 5:30. And if you're far west, you already know that's like 3 or 2 a.m. If you could sit down, it's gonna be on ESPN Plus. So I don't know.
A lot of people on the West Coast, they're gonna be still wrapping up the barbecue, wrapping up they holidays, so they can just stay up and watch it.
Yeah, and this is for this is for all the belts, for the undisputed. I said undisputed super bantam. So it's all the everything is on this one. So salute to the winner. I'm sure people in Japan are going to be happy if their prize fighter wins it, because he represents that whole nation, and he's been doing a great job.
Pound for pound, pound for pound,
pound for pound. You know, when that list came out, I believe in July. I could be wrong, around that time. I wonder, like, before even I share with the world my points on the pound for pound list, how do they decide this arrangement of fighters? What's the matrix?
Good question.
Is it risk factor? Is it record? Is it how many fights the year they fought? I wonder what the rubric or the metric that they use. Because personally, I respect the fighters that are top 5, top 10. But why isn't Bud Crawford number 1?
I think Bud himself said that Usyk was number 1.
If I look at the record, I'll put Bud 1 over Usyk. If I look at the risk factor, I'll put Bud 1 over Usyk. If I look at seats, butts to seats, I'll put Bud Crawford number 1. Not over Usyk, not over Canelo though. Over Usyk.
Where's Canelo ranked?
I think Canelo's 4. Canelo's 4, but it's 3. Anyways, 2, and Usyk is 1.
Yeah, you can't reward just at some point. Like at some point, we acknowledge that you're a great fighter, and we acknowledge that you unified the belts. We acknowledge your resume, but at some point, it's like, yeah.
Do you think Shakur Stevenson should be number 8 in that list? Let's be honest. We're using all these criterias and categories of great fighters, undefeated. But in that pound for pound list, and I'll go through that list here. Let me run through that list real quick. We have Usyk number 1, Inoue number 2. We have
I no longer know how to feel about Shakur Stevenson. I don't know how to feel about it.
We have Canelo Alvarez number 4. We have Beterbiev number 5. We have Bivol number 6. We have Tank number 7, and then we have Shakur Stevenson number 8. We have Jesse Rodriguez number 9, and when we have David Benavidez number 10. David Haney was not in the top 10. Who else? Who else was left out? The top 10. A couple people, but anyways,
I can't put Shakur. No,
you cannot put him in. Is that a wrong placement for Shakur? Is he a number 10 pound for pound?
So Benavidez is higher, obviously, for me because
I agree.
He's number 1 contender in the super middleweight. Okay, we know that, and then he's moving up to 175. So he's doing it across weight classes at a high clip. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Which is why, yes, by that measure, Terrence Crawford probably should be number 1 because he's done it across multiple weight classes.
Okay. Another person, Jesse Rodriguez, right? Respect.
Yes.
WBC respect.
Yes.
Would you sneak Boots in there over him?
Over Shakur?
Jesse or Shakur?
Dang, at this point, that's tough because did Boots have any belts at 140? Just going off the eye test, I would. Off the eye test alone, I put Boots in there over Shakur.
How about Mbili?
He does.
Mbili holds 2 belts, right? Or 1. I think it's WBO. I forgot what Mbili holds, but there are a couple of champions in there that are busy.
See, and at one point I have the Charlo in there because he unified. So, I mean, at one point I'd have him in there because he beat other people in front of him.
I think I'll still keep Shakur in there, but I'll put Shakur at 10. I'll put Shakur at 10. I'll move David to. I'll put David to. I'll put David at 6. I'll move Bivol to 8, and I'll move Tank to 5.
I would like to see the rematch at 68. I would like to see him rematch Canelo at 68. Bill,
Mm.
you know?
And Canelo's placement at 4. Are you comfortable with Canelo being 4?
Yeah, for now. I mean, he's still unified champion. He's going out there beating his hand-picked opponents.
Okay. I'll put Usyk at 4, personally. I'll put Usyk at 4. I'll put Bud at 1. I'll put Canelo at 2. I'll put Inoue at 3. And I'll put Usyk at 4. That's my ranking. Canelo is 2, Bud is 1 to me. But maybe Canelo sells a lot of pay-per-view. So Canelo 1 or 2, but Canelo, you could you're not
Is that the metric though? What's the metric?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what pound for pound.
Pound for pound.
I'll put Canelo 1 or Bud. One of either of them.
You know who my GOAT is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my GOAT is Roy Jones. So pound for pound, he's the best boxer. Pound for pound. So okay. I was a power lifter in high school, and I like to think that, you know, at the time it was like 130 something, but I could move weight I could move a lot of weight for how much that I weighed. So I was pound for pound. You know, there's some kind of conversion there. You feel me? So yeah, I think it's like the dunk contest, right? The smaller dunkers have a better effect.
Yeah.
On their dunks.
I hear you. You know, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Do Bivol and Beterbiev, do they deserve that 5 and 6?
Yeah, just because of what they've been able to do independently.
But I don't know what the numbers are, but what butts to the seats. We're not talking about skill here. I mean, there's a lot of skill people who will never make this list, right? Butts to the seats, stock quality, pay-per-view. And maybe I'm using the wrong metric. I don't know. I'm just using from what's here, what I feel and what I see, and what I see in these boxing social media streets of who they're really watching and who they think is pound for pound, you know. And I know it's not a popularity contest.
I pay a lot of attention to that division, right? So like a while back, I was talking about 68 heavy. I also pay attention to 75 heavy. And I've seen the guys that step in the ring with them that are better athletes. And I just watch what they do to them and watch how they demolish and take their soul. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they deserve those rankings, in my opinion.
Okay. Good. Do you think Haney deserves a look?
You know what?
Ryan Garcia lost
because of he's taken a bad rap because of recency bias, but I think Haney does deserve a look just on the resume. Haney's got a resume, so yes, so that's you can't deny the resume. Now, and one loss doesn't erase all of that.
Well, I just thought that was a good conversation point to talk about these lists and how they are put together and who puts these lists together, first of all, and how does that affect the fighters when it comes to earnings, when it comes to who is the A side and all the
negotiations,
talking to your promoters, and you know,
do they look at Instagram followers?
I wouldn't be surprised. There has to be popularity in this. There has to be a level on the criteria on who is the universal face, you know, like it has to, because pound for pound is not the weight. It's just, if I put you here and I put you there, you're both champions. Who's the big kahuna? Who's the big guy? Who is?
here's a, and it's kind of hypothetical, but if you take judge it like this: if you take a Canelo and you take a Crawford and you have them fight at a catch weight,
I wanted to see that.
it's still possible.
Yeah.
People say things, right? People say things all the time. There's a lot of chatter on the internet, and then a couple months later, they spun the block on it. So
yeah. Well, as we talked about that, what else do we have here on our docket? I'm trying to see what we have on our docket here. But
Inoue was the upcoming prediction.
It was upcoming prediction. Okay, so I think we've maximized our weekend streaming. LT, do you have anything to promote? Anything to share with the audience? What to look forward to?
I guess. Oh well, our feature length film hit 1 million views on YouTube. So
hey, let me.
Yeah, there's that. So big shout out to my guy Troy Lamont, Drew Vision Cinema. So we did it on the big screen, and so now I'm trying to translate that and do something else over here on the podcast game. So
we'll add that. We'll add that in the description here for the recorded version of this show. Those that missed the live session, we'll put a link to the movie Seeds. I watched it. Class. You guys did your thing. Salute.
And it was our first feature length. So
yeah, and 1 million views. Wow. Another round of applause.
Heck yeah.
You have to celebrate every victory here because that's something that people never ever attain in their lifetime of creation, where they get 1 million people locked in to watch what you've created. And salute to Troy, salute to everyone that was part of that whole production, from the actors to the people on the back end, to the people scouting, to even
score, everybody that helped on the original score.
Yeah, everything. Salute to you. That's a heavy lift. It's not done by one person. It's a whole. It's a heavy lift, and you guys lifted that thing, put it out there in the world, and the universe is just repaying you back with the appreciation of what you've created. That's major. Salute to you. Salute to Troy. Salute to everyone. On my end, this show has rejuvenated my interest for creating more content. So I'm looking back into it. As some may know, I used to make music, so I'm still I'm in that rapper limbo where I'm like,
we need future tracks for future projects.
Hey, I could score the intro the intro to this thing. If you need any tracks for future projects, absolutely I can do that. I just need to get my mojo back. Sometimes, when you have a superpower and you've not used it in a long time, sometimes you just walk around just being a civilian and not even knowing that you can do what you can do. It's like a basketball player. I've not shot a shot in 5 years. I don't know if I still have my layup. I don't know if I still have my hops. maybe that talent is gone. But even if it's gone, I enjoyed creating what I created at that time. And you could revise. We could do some revisionist history. But if you have time and you need to listen to what I created, go to iTunes, go to Spotify. It's all there. It's all locked.
And he's humble. He's an award-winning artist in his own right. So
you can listen to that. But right now, I'm fully fledged into this combat sports show that we have. This is my passion. As you can see, this is LT's passion. It's our idea that came to fruition. And salute to Kam Gee that has joined in to lock in and make this thing even better. And those that are listening, we are going to bring professional fighters and join into the cast, and we could talk our stuff. Also get corrected by professional fighters, because at the end of the day, I'm a casual. I will never say I'm not media. This is a fan show. We are fans first. Fans first. I'm not a person that sits down and comments on fights. I'm a fan first. So every opinion is coming from a fan. I love all these fighters. I watch them and I respect what they do. But LT, I'll let you conclude with your words so we can wrap up this show.
Who's fighting?
Boom.